Okay, Reggie, before we get into this week's questions, is there anything you wanted to speak on or talk about before we get into it?
No, just happy September to the Bomb First family. Appreciate y'all still hanging in there and sticking with us. My prediction's still coming true. I still stand by it. So I know y'all already wondering what happened to keep you the arrest. Hey, I don't control the grand jury and the DA office, but trust me, it's still happening. So, yep.
Okay. Um, Before we get into this week's questions, Glenn, can you hand him that thing? I wanted to give you this because, I want to say about like maybe 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago, we hit the 100,000 subscribers on the channel. So they sent out plaques. So I wanted to make sure you got this because I know for a fact we wouldn't have gotten to the growth that we did without,
Oh,
without you and your contribution. So
oh, okay. Well, well, that's beautiful, beautiful. Y'all check it out. John just surprised me. I didn't know about this, but yeah, appreciate it. Nice. Congratulations to you, John, because this is your creation and your baby, though. So yeah, y'all check it out. Appreciate that. So that's the plaque you get when you get to the 100,000, and hopefully we'll get one. What's the next milestone we got to reach for?
the next one's 1 million. So it's
Oh,
far.
well, I think I'll be off YouTube by the time we get to the million, but hopefully you or Miss M, I'll just say Miss M, she can take over it and run with it. Yes, yeah.
Okay. All right. So Allen Hughes did an interview, and I guess he's prepping for the Snoop Dogg biopic, but he said that it was crazy to him how Snoop had to dim his light to let Tupac shine when Tupac joined Death Row. I just wanted to see if I know I sent you the quote. I know you read it, but I wanted to get your thoughts on if you agreed with him or disagreed with him.
Well, Tupac was a star. I always said Tupac was a star because he had the movies, he had the charisma, and he used to do 500,000 sales consistently. And I think Me Against the World at that point was at about 1 million. Wasn't that double platinum? Because all of y'all go to Google and y'all hear what things are today and all of that, so y'all think that's where things were, you know, 2, 3, 4 months after the album debut. So I kind of get what Allen meant by that, because y'all gotta remember, Snoop Dogg broke a record when Doggy Style came out. It shipped like 800, almost 900,000 first week. First week. And he was debuted a lot on the Chronic that had sold 3 million. And then Murder Was the Case soundtrack was out. And it had sold, basically just from him on that badass video that was done, that Murder Was the Case video shoot that was like a 15, 16 minute long segment, which was the only person that did something similar to that at that time was Michael Jackson when he did Thriller. And so I kind of get it. I know a lot of y'all gonna be mad. A lot of y'all don't. But if you go back and people that were in the 90s, and not you people that were still in your dad nut sacks in the 90s, will go back and research it, y'all kind of understand what Allen was saying. But I'm not slighting Tupac by saying he was a star. But he wasn't beaten out or even mentioned in the names of Garth Brooks in mid-90s, which Snoop was. I don't know if it was because of Death Row. I don't know if it was because of Snoop Dogg himself. I don't know if it was because of being on beats that were done by Dr. Dre. Or lastly, it was because of the pending murder trial. that drove his success. But 94, 95, 96, urban rap wasn't nobody bigger than Snoop. Now, you would think LL was, the way MTV and them played his music back then. You would think Biggie was, from just that 1 year of 1995. But maybe our boy Pac running with the laws and stuff like that could have hurt him, to make him not as big as them. But if we keep it real, y'all, Pac success came 2 to 3 months after February of 1996, from after that California Love video blowing up, hitting most spins. Do you give that credit to Death Row? Do you give that credit to Dr. Dre? I don't know. I'm not going to sit up here and shit on Pac. But if y'all keep it real, Dre did more verses on California Love than Pac did, as I remember. And that was originally a Dr. Dre song. So on this one with Allen Hughes, I know he likes shitting on Tupac. He love it. He love every chance he get to shit on Tupac. Even though I'll say again, he did a great documentary, but I still believe he did a lot of shitting on Pac as well. We just didn't catch him, or y'all didn't catch him. So I know Allen has a lot of hatred towards Tupac, which I might understand. Because if a nigga whoop on my ass like Pac and his crew did, it might be hard for me to, hold that resentment in. And we all do forget that Allen fired him off of the movie set of Menace to Society without any warning. He told y'all, there's footage out there where he told y'all how he found out about it. And I think he was on a plane or something like that, he said, when he read and heard that he was fired off the show. And even Allen admitted on the interview with Vlad that he got the deal. He got the contract or the budget based on having a superstar attached to a superstar rapper attached to the movie, which was Pac. And then once you get your budget and get in the doors, you fire me. So I'm just trying to show y'all the personality of Allen Hughes towards Pac and why I came down so hard on him about being involved and people allowing him to be involved in, not building his name back up, which he hadn't really had no big thing. But now he can go around and say, hey, I did the best documentary of all times on FX, which he did. But was it done because of him, or was it done because of Pac? Give y'all something to think about. I'd like to know your thoughts on that, John.
If the documentary was good because of him or because of Tupac?
Or not so much the documentary, just, to your question and how I explained it.
I it's always tough for me because I bought the Thug Life album when it came out. I bought Me Against the World when it came out. So in my eyes, he was already this big star.
But that's 500,000. 500,000.
Yes. I know. No, the numbers don't lie. And you're absolutely right about Snoop. Doggy Style was probably the most anticipated album that I remember.
Yeah.
It broke all those sales records. Then he went into Murder Was the Case, and then the soundtrack was really good. It was, to your point, like we were talking about, it was almost like a compilation with a lot of Snoop on it. I think the only part that I disagree about the Snoop dimming, and it's probably due to the trial and all that, but 95 he didn't have anything. Now, the LBC Crew album or the Doggy Style Records compilation, whatever you refer to it as, was done, and he did have some songs on there. But I feel like a lot of Snoop's star power gets taken away from him because of the letdown that the Dogfather was.
Oh,
Had he hit Dogfather out of the park,
yes,
there would be no discussion.
I totally agree. Dogfather was probably, even though it sold 2 million records, still one of the worst albums that Snoop could have followed up. But if y'all look at the history of sophomore artists, look at the history of sophomore artists. I know, some will say, well, how can we call him a sophomore artist because he was so much on the Chronic, and then he was so much on Murder Was the Case and Above the Rim. That still was his sophomore album. And Dre told y'all when he said, "Shit, how did I flop? My second album was The Chronic, Chronic 2. You know, Still Smoking or whatever they called that, 2001." And so, you know, he, you know, he forgot about Aftermath and The Firm and all of that. And so, my point to all of that is just that. So I get what they're saying, and artists only want to put the sophomore album as their second album when they on pretty much every song. So yeah.